Right. So we're moving on to 98. Uh, verse 98. It says, "The birth of a Brahman is a perpetual incarnation of Dharma, for he exists for the sake of Dharma and is for the existence of the Vedas." Right? So let me just reiterate the point. This thing is not by birth, and it should never be by birth. Right? Um, Whether you are in a particular born of a particular lineage or develop to be one in your life, right? You should never allow it to get to your ego regardless, right? And feel a particular way regardless of gender, race, anything of the sort, right? When a Brahman is born, he is born above the world. That was my thought, right? The 98 goes, "The birth of a Brahman is a perpetual incarnation of Dharma, for he exists for the sake of Dharma and is for the existence of the Vedas," full stop, right? That's the verse, right? So I added it in the rest when I said that you should not, this is what I'm trying to dismantle. Brahman by birth is what I'm trying to dismantle, or Shudra by birth, or everything else in between by birth, right? um Meaning that I, along with others in this life, is striving very, very hard to help others to utilize the 0.01% of free will, right, for the benefit and upliftment of self and society, right? Um, so that people do not keep you where they think you deserve to be, right? 99. When a Brahman is born, he is born above the world, the chief of all creatures, to guard the treasury of Dharma. Right? Again, right? We are trying to dismantle this by sharing knowledge. Right? Sharing knowledge is the only thing that can help people come out of this situation. Right? When a Brahman is born, he is born above the world. This is what the book is saying, meaning that, hey, so what? Everybody else in the world is, who's everybody else in the world? Right? Who's everybody else? Right? Everybody else is just shit then, right? 100. Thus, whatever exists in the universe is all the property of the Brahman, for the Brahman is entitled to all of it by his superiority and eminence by birth, right? So, this is why, right? I've been emphasizing since the start, since during the course of these videos, right, that the earth belongs to everybody, right? I don't give a crap. I don't give two craps about who you born as or who I born as. I don't even give two craps about who I born as. I do not give two craps about who I was born as or who you was born as, right? um Whatever exists in the universe, the book says, is all the property of the Brahman. But I am saying, right, God is using me to say that whatever exists on earth is actually for everybody, right? Especially those who are previously disadvantaged, right, with regard to property, all these things, wealth, all these things, right? 101. The Brahman eats his own alone, wears his own, and gives away his own through the benevolence of the Brahman. Indeed, the other people enjoy all that they have. For ascertainment of his duties on those the other cast in order, the prudent Manu Swayambhuva composed this treatise. This treatise must be strenuously pursued by the learned Brahman and explained rightly to the pupil, but not by any other person. The Brahman who studies this treatise and who has performed his vows is never defiled by defects arising from his mind, speech, or body, right? I believe that anybody should be able to read and interpret any religious text, right? And like God knows what God means, when God reveals certain things, right? 105, he purifies his associates, and seven of his kindred, both ascending and descending, and verily he alone deserves all of this earth. Um, this this so everybody, if you're not purified according to the standard, you don't deserve it at all, right? So it is a lot of things that really needs to and this is not an Indian thing, right? Like I was saying, this system is a system that exists in all over the world, right? This system is the system that exists in the world, right? It's not a Vedic thought, right? Is a system, right, that was implemented, misrepresented, right? Um, this treatise is a cause of prosperity, most excellent, and increases intelligence. This treatise brings fame and long life. This treatise is the best source of knowledge, which brings deliverance. In this treatise, Dharma is fully declared, also the good and the bad qualities of action. Likewise, also the perpetual usages of the forecast, right? So, like the Quran, this book is resolving itself. It's talking about your qualities or your actions, right? Your qualities or your actions being the determinant, right, of what you can inherit or not, right? And not by virtue of who you are born as, right? Usage is the highest dharma. It is mentioned in the Vedas and approved by tradition. Therefore, a prudent, twice-born man should ever be intent on this. A Brahman who has fallen away from usage also gets not the fruit of the Veda, but if he be attached to usage, he enjoys the fruit. Um, Now we go back to that conversation, right? Because remember, we're talking about wrapping up past issues as well, right? So not only behavior, right, is a determinant of what you should or should not inherit, but is also what labor was done, right? By people who you were connected to in the past, right? So you were connected to people who undergone certain horrors by certain groups of people, right? You are by nature entitled, right, to inherit certain things of the earth, right? Because, like I was saying, God intends at this point in history is, right, for people and not for people to be working assiduously and working constantly and working and exerting the amount of labor that they used to in the past, right? Um, Thus, devotees have seen that the course of Dharma is, according to usage, comprehensive usage to be the final root of all austerity. Manu has declared in the sacred treatise the origin of the world and the rules of the sacramental rites, also vows, conduct, and service as due by a pupil to his teacher, and the best rule for ablution by a student on finishing the pupil stage of his life. The taking a wife also, and the definition of the kinds of marriages, and the rules also for the 5 ceremonies and the perpetual order of the funeral rites, also the description of the modes of livelihood and the vows of a householder, also what may and may not be eaten, ceremonial purity, and the purification of chattels. The application of Dharma regarding women, the duties of ascetics, final bliss and renunciation of the world, the whole Dharma of kings, and the decision of legal disputes. Also, the rules for examining witnesses and the laws concerning husband and wife, the Dharma of partition of heritage, about gambling, and about chastisement of criminals. The rules regarding the service due Vaishyas and Shudras, and the origin of mixed caste, also the law of caste in times of distress, and the rules of expiation. Also the threefold existence which arises from actions, and final bliss, and the examination of good and bad qualities of actions, the eternal dharma of countries, castes, families, also the dharmas of heretics and guilds, just as Manu formally, when questioned by me, declared this body of teaching. So learn ye it today from me. That's the end of the first lecture, right? That ends at 119. Right. So this concludes this video, and we'll move on later or tomorrow with lecture 2. Right. Good.